So welcome to our Monday training call. As you all know, I'm Laura Greene. I am the president of sales and training here at Live Elite, and I'm so happy to have you join me. We really do have a power-packed evening ahead of us, and I'm going to be talking about a distributor here in just a couple moments who's going to be doing a lot of the training with us this evening. However, we have some recognition to do, and I'm very excited about this. As you know, we put out an incentive for the person each week for 3 weeks, while we were doing the events, that the number one person in recruiting each week would be recognized with the product gifts. And we've had some good participation. It's been really fun. And also at the end of the week to see the numbers come in of who would have the most. And this week was kind of interesting because we had a 3-way tie. So I'm like, how do we break a 3-way tie? I thought, well, we just put the 3 names in and draw it out. That's just kind of random. Or to break the tie, we decided we would base it on volume. As you know, we are a company who brings people into the business on product packs, either product pack 1, pack 2, pack 3, or pack 4. And so I want to congratulate the distributor who won. And it's going to be by no surprise, this distributor who was number 1 this past week in recruiting was the one and only Lennon Ledbetter. Woo-hoo! Now, the reason why he ended up being number 1 is because he brought people in on bigger packs. So we added it all up and thought his team came in, his new recruits on the highest pack, so they had the most volume. So we felt volume kind of trumped signups, so he was the winner. So congratulations to our Mr. Lennon Ledbetter for being the number 1 recruiter in the 3rd week of the challenge. Now, for those of you who've already had an opportunity to work with Lennon or hear from him, I'm sure it's no surprise that he knows what he's doing, right? So we got to be happy for him. So let's give him that recognition he deserves. And he's been working lots of hours and putting in a lot of time helping distributors all around the world. And I know many of you are excited about the things that you're learning with him, and it's just been a real boost to our company. So we will make sure that Lennon gets his reward. And it was a 3-way tie, though, as far as the number of recruits. So I'm excited about that. And the reason he was the number 1 is because the recruits he brought in did come in on higher product packs. Y'all clear about that? Okay, now, I also want to do a special recognition for somebody who had the most customers last week. And what I mean by that is new customers. So, everyone has a customer base that, every month, they do their LPP. However, then when you have new customers, it's considered new customers. And last week, our very own Marlene Villanueva from Florida was number 1 in bringing in the most new customers last week. So yay to Marlene. Yes, I know. I'm so excited. It looks like Lennon did jump on. So Lennon, we just recognized you last week as the number 1 recruiter in the entire company for bringing in the most new recruits last week on higher product packs. So congratulations, and we already recognize you. We just want you to know that you led the way last week in the incentive. Okay, now, for the first few minutes of this call, I want to speak to the hearts of our brand new distributors. So those of you who are brand new to the company, for the next few minutes, I'm going to introduce you to something that our established distributors have been learning and working on for the last 7-8 months. You all get this in your enrollment kits. I do feel it's very important, though, that every person who comes into the business gets started off on the right foot. I'm going to ask that you all, where possible, show yourself in the video. I don't want you hiding behind the screen. It's so much more effective that we can see your smiling faces and know that you're actually engaged with us. However, your first week of business, actually the first 5 weeks of your business, are really important. And I'm going to tell you why. Years ago, I actually created and authored this program. It's called the 5 Weeks to Unit Leader. Everyone who comes into network marketing comes in with the hopes and desire that they want to build a business where they're leading a group of people underneath them. That's why it's called network marketing and direct sales. Now, question. I want you guys to ask yourself, what do you think is the difference between somebody who rises to the top and starts to have true residual passive income and true financial freedom, and some who come in and go out? I don't think that, I really believe that every person has it in them to be their best. I don't think God created any person in the world and sent us down here saying, you know, you're not going to be excellent. I think every one of us was born with greatness in us. However, over the years, I've studied different attributes of people in this industry that have had success. And there were certain things that they do consistently. And so in my first couple years of the business, and keep in mind I was 18 and 19 years of age, by the time I was 21, I had already created a pretty large organization, large enough I was a seven-figure earner. However, one of the things that I learned is it seemed like there were so many quality people. You know, how many times have you sat down and talked to somebody in your mind, you think, oh my gosh, they're going to be awesome. And then the next week, you know, like they disappear off the face of the earth and you're like, how did that happen? And so I think it's really important that we know that in the first 5 weeks of business, there are certain attributes that all distributors want to master. You want to be successful in this business. There are certain things that you should be doing on a regular basis. So I actually created this system. It's to me, it's a way of life. It's not just a system, it's a way of life. However, it's proven that people who've had high levels of results in the beginning have mastered basics that stay with us forever. So in your first week, and I want everyone to just say to themselves, no matter what level you are in this business, brand new, 35 years in the business, whatever, that this week you're going to go back to basics. I want every single person to go back to basics and live elite. And the reason why is we never get to where we have arrived. We're always striving. However, these basic things I'm going to share with you will create a foundation that you can have forever. And I'm telling you that still to this day, I do these very things every day in my business. And as a result, it has blessed my life and my family and other people who I've had a chance to mentor and work with and under. So I want to challenge you for 5 straight days to talk to 3 people, just 3 people, get a name and phone number, and create 5 solid contacts. Now, you think, well, 3 is more than 5. It is. 3 a day is actually 15 names. However, from those 15, some will, some won't, so what, who's next? You will generate solid contacts. Now, when I say a contact, I'm talking about somebody that can be a potential customer or a distributor organization. However, nobody recruits or trains without getting contacts. It's constantly, sifting through people. You can do it through your phone contacts. You can do it through family and friends, people that you know. You can do it from a cold call. You can do it from a phone book. You can do it from just walking in and out of a grocery store. Every day, we should have people who cross our path, and every day we should be getting 3 names and phone numbers. People who do this consistently in their business build I call it a Rolodex, which is an outdated term. However, it really isn't, of names and numbers where you'll never run out. You'll never run out of people that you can share your opportunity with. So I think that the power of 3 for 5 straight days this week is really important to your business. Go back to the basics. Now, for those of you who want maximum results, 3 is not enough. You should be doing 10 a day. You want to do the power of 10 a day for those who want maximum results, okay? That's why it says, make a list of 10 names and phone numbers. Now, I say from your warm leads. Who better to work with than the people that you know the most? You know, when I look at my life, the people I want to surround myself with are other people who I want, who are successful, and I want to be successful with them. So look at your circle of influence. You know, Lennon has used the term, how we associate. Well, it's really important that you look at your warm leads. I mean, in today's world, our technology of cell phone, you have hundreds of names in it. So start going out and making those calls. Now, I say that this week, those of you who are new to this business, you need to attend an upline interview with somebody in your upline. Now, what's powerful about this is with the peak, edify, and pass, you're going to pique somebody's interest. You're going to edify an upline and then pass the person to the upline, and you observe your upline person talk to that person. The reason why you want to do that is it will help sharpen your skills, and it also holds your upline accountable to work as well. When they look you in the eye and say, I want to help you be successful, hold them accountable to do that by having them do appointments with you and for you. Now, at this company, we have created very easy flip chart. You don't even need to know anything about the business as long as you can read and follow a flip chart. I think that you should do a customer search for a couple of hours. Now, those of you who've been to Mama Greene's house and gone out in the field and at your boot camps, this is fun. This is not hard work. It's like fun. And so we're going to talk about that. I want you to practice talking to 3 people actually using the flip chart, doing an actual appointment where you sit down, you hold the flip chart, and you talk to them. Now, whether you do it via Zoom or, through a computer, it's still following the tool. Now, the reason why you want to use the tool is it's universal. So that means, not everyone is eloquent and knows everything about everything. So just read. Then you're duplicating. It's more duplicatable. A brand new person can read the flip chart just like an experienced person. And then the new people you're bringing in will start to duplicate what you're doing. So I want to challenge all of you to do 3 of those a week, this week as a practice. Now, when you start to really master it, to me, 3 practice appointments in a week is nothing. You should be doing 3 or more a day. And when you do that, you're going to be perfected at it. So that's why in your first week, you want to stretch outside your comfort zone and practice this skill. Now, where it says bring a recruit type guest to sales meeting, unit meeting, new distributor training, that means people that are recruitable, meaning that you want to share the opportunity with, plug them in to the things that we have offered on the calendar. For instance, tomorrow's opportunity call, or the corporate update call, or team leading, team Zooms that your different team leaders are doing. You want to plug people into those, leverage those people. It will really help you lift the ball. You can accomplish more in recruiting when you're leveraging other people than doing it all on your own. It gets really heavy. Think of like carrying around a bag of bricks on your own or having a whole team lift a bag of bricks. It's much easier. And then at the end of the week, you want to do a review with your upline. So for those of you who are brand new in the business, whoever brought you into the business, they are your upline. You will sharpen their skill by having them do stuff with you. Not only is it training you, it's also training them. So I feel very passionate that in your first week of business, everyone needs to start mastering these skills. Okay? So do y'all understand that it's not just for new people, it's new to help you master, it's for the upline to help you get better at what you're doing. And then each week, there's 5 weeks to this. Now, technically, the 5 weeks is basically doing the same thing over and over. It's just getting better and better at it. Now, with that, I want to talk about somebody who has mastered this business for several years. And I want to give a little bit of background here. I've known this individual for a long time. We met from this industry. In a very short period of time, this individual and we started doing this program that you're seeing right now. We were doing the make a list and we were calling the people. And then every week we were doing in-home demonstrations right in my home. Now, it started out small. Like at first, I remember when Z would show up at my house, there'd be like 5 people there and we'd think, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then the next week there'd be like 10, and the next week. We literally outgrew my house. Like, I'm not kidding. The house I was living in, I had an upstairs and a downstairs, and they were huge rooms, and the rooms were packed from doing exactly what I just told you, making the list, making the calls, doing the flip chart, and showing the presentation. And in a short time, Z and I had a pretty large business growing. And then I had some health challenges, which I'm not going to go into. However, one of the things that I've loved about Zan is not only is he very, very skilled at what he does, he's honest and he has integrity and he truly cares. He helps people, not just for the fact he's going to make a bunch of money off of them. He has made a lot of money over the years. Rather, it's what he can do for others. And so I reached out to Zan and asked that he come on and do some training. And he's going to train you basically on a few things. The one is the consistency of recruiting, and the second is about driving your teams deep. He's very, very, very skilled at that. Now, I'm not going to go into dollar figures. I do want you to know, though, over the years, Zan has earned tremendous income in this industry. I mean, I know in one of his companies that he had built, he had 500 and something thousand people in his organization. And when I came aboard with Live Elite, I reached out to Zan for the fact, not just what he could do for Live Elite, what I wanted to do as a give back to him for the contribution he has been to me in my life. I truly love and care about Zan and all that he's done to others and for others. And so with that, I'm going to turn the next 20 or what of minutes over to the one special Z and the V, Zan Horlacher. It's all yours, my friend. Take it away. You there? Oh, I need to unmute him. My bad. Okay, Sam, you're good.
All right, are we good?
You're good.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. It's nice to be here. I always preface anytime I'm doing something at home that the beauty of this business is you can do it out of your home. The downside is you can do it out of your home, and at any given time, I may have kids that walk into my office here. So if that happens, you know, I'm preparing you in advance, but it's a pleasure to be here. I'm just going to say that Laura is one of those people that practices and teaches everything that she does. Or you know, she practices what she preaches. When she talks about going out and talking to people, she literally does it. And you know, just to kind of reiterate what she said, when we were building in this other company, she had a big home. It was big, and we did start off small, and just like this business is, you know, you talk to two people, and then those people talk to two, and then they talk to two, and in a very short period of time, her house was packed, and it was hard to even find parking in her little cul-de-sac area where she lived, but it was just a lot of fun, and the excitement in what we built there was contagious, and I think you get it from her. You know, she just has a lot of enthusiasm, and I mean, talk about someone who loves people. That's Laura, and she just wants everyone to succeed, and I think you get that from just listening to her. But you know, one of the things that I kind of wanted to mention on this call, and maybe take it a different, maybe a little different turn, is I'm a big believer in setting goals. I believe a goal not written is only a wish. So I write down my goals, and I believe that that's important to show people that our goals are out there and they're written. And when we write them down, they automatically make us accountable to others. If we share our goals with our upline all of a sudden knows what we want to do, and now we're accountable to our upline. If we write down our goals and we show our spouse or our children, all of a sudden we're accountable to them. And I remember in the last company that I was with, as an incentive trip, our company had a trip that they were planning to the Grand Wailea in Hawaii. And I remember printing out on a piece of paper a picture of the Grand Wailea. And I posted that picture on our bathroom mirror at our house. And all my kids saw it, and they knew that this was a trip that they were all going to be included in. And so if you don't think that they held me accountable for what I was wanting to do, every now and then they'd come in, they'd say, "How you doing on your trip, Dad? Are we going to make it?" And so it was one of those things that I felt like if I did not accomplish that, I was not only letting my wife down and my kids down, but you know, not only myself. So it was just one of those things that I believe in setting goals. But on top of those goals, I think, and this is kind of the turn that I'm going to make, is I believe that we need to include God in our goals. If you're not a believer in God, maybe in the higher power or in whoever you believe in, whether it's the universe or God or whatever. To me, that was a big part of me building, and continues to be a big part of me building. Every day, I include God in setting those goals. And I make those goals, and like Laura said, go out and talk to, the number of people that you want to talk to, 3 people this week or 3 people this day or each day. I think that if we say to ourselves, I'm going to set I'm going to set a goal for 3 people that I'm going to talk to today. And we say a prayer and we say, help me find 3 people that I can talk to today. I believe that if we don't open our mouths, and I remember back when I was 19 years old, I had a gentleman tell me, he says, you can triple your success in life if you'll do just 2 things: work, 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 and open your mouth. And I've never forgotten that. And I think to myself, you know what, if we set a goal every day, and our goal every day is to go out and talk to 3 people, and we include God in that goal, and we say, I'm going to talk to 3 people today, help me find or be directed to those 3 people. Well, aren't we going to be more willing to open our mouths if we've included God in our goals? If we go out and we have somebody that comes across our path, are we going to open our mouths if that person comes across our path? Are we going to say to ourselves, maybe that person was put in my path for me to talk to? Well, I believe if we don't open our mouths, if we don't share the opportunity, why would God put someone in our path if we're not willing to open our mouths and share something with them, right? So I think it kind of commits us. It commits us to opening our mouths, because who knows who was planted in our way or put in our way each day as those people that we should be talking to. So whether we believe in God or the universe or a higher power or whatever it is, if we're not opening our mouths each day to talk to those people, why would that higher power put someone in our lives if we're not opening our mouths to talk to them? I hope that makes sense to you. It was a big motivator to me. It was a big motivator to talk to every single person that I had contact with, because I didn't want to let someone slip by that I was being directed to talk to, or that was being put into my life as someone that I was supposed to talk to, in for fear that I might miss out. So anyways, it just motivated me that way. But setting goals and making sure that we're committed to opening our mouths is a big deal. And I'm really fearless when it comes to just talking to people, and I have no fear in being able to open my mouth. I love the fact that on last week's call we had Lennon, and Lennon, again, practices what he preaches, and here he's talking about going out and talking to people, and he's on our call interrupting a meeting that he was having in Starbucks. And it was kind of cool to be able to go in, and he showed us the meeting that he was having currently at Starbucks, but had to put it on hold so that he could come and talk to us, and talk about a guy who does what he says. That's what it's all about. I'm one of those guys that loves to keep a spreadsheet, and I work off of a spreadsheet. So literally I've got hundreds of people on my spreadsheet. And what I do is I want to make sure that those people on that spreadsheet are different colors, and they're all color coded. And when I introduce this opportunity with them, I highlight them in yellow. And all I want to do once they're in yellow is I want to get them either green or I want to get them red. If they tell me no, I move them to the bottom of the spreadsheet and I turn them red. If they tell me yes, I move them to the top of the spreadsheet and I turn them green. And I don't care if they're red or green, just get them off of yellow is what I'm thinking. But I want them to be yellow. I want always, at any given time, I want to have about 20 to 30 people highlighted in yellow. The reason why I have so many people highlighted in yellow is because if one of them tells me no and I highlight them in red, it's not like I'm having a hard time. If you're only working with 2 or 3 and all of a sudden one of them tells you no, it's like 1/3 of your list has now told you no. But if you've got 20 or 30 people that are highlighted in yellow and one of them tells you no, it's just a small part of your list of people who you're working with, and you move them to the bottom. And then you know, once you get down to 20 or so, then go talk to 5 or 10 more people and highlight them in yellow. So you've always got this working list of 20 to 30 people that you're talking to. And if you've got it, you can do it on a yellow pad, you can do it on a computer spreadsheet, you can do it a lot of different ways. But if you've got a list that you're constantly working with, then you make sure that you know, people don't fall through the cracks. And I think it's nice because even when people are in Greene, there's still work to be done with those people that you're working with that are in Greene. And I'll tell you an interesting story that happened to me. When I very first got involved in the last company that I was in, I actually enrolled a guy 2 houses down from me. And that gentleman enrolled someone who lived 4 hours from us. And that person that lived 4 hours from us had a Japanese wife, and she decided that she was going to place an ad over in Japan. And she enrolled someone in Japan. And then that person enrolled someone in Japan. And then that person enrolled another couple in Japan. And they ended up growing our organization to over 300,000 people in Japan. So that was actually about 5 people down from me. It was someone I had no idea, but it's what I call driving the lines. So what happens is your business is going to be built most often not by people you know, but by people they know or people they know. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 levels down within your organization that you're going to find that little stick of dynamite that takes off with this business. So if you think that when you bring someone in, your work is done, you're sadly mistaken. It is your responsibility that when someone is brought in, you help them build their business, and that you drive those lines and you make yourself available, and you find out what their goals are and where they want to go with this. And if they tell you that they want to build a massive business, then you know, it's your job to help them build that massive business. If they tell you that they want to be big, then, you know, this is a business where it's our own business. And so sometimes it's difficult to really push people, because you can only push people so much when they don't work for you. You know, if you're their boss, you can push them. But if they're their own boss, you can only push them so much. But if they've given you the leverage or the leeway to push them because they've told you that they want to build a big business, and you've had that communication with them that do you want me to push you? Do you want me to work with you? How much do you want me to grow with you and you know, leverage you? Then you have that ability. So I always have that conversation with people, and I'm always conscientious about how hard to drive the lines. But you really need to keep digging until you find those sticks of dynamite, and it's a big part of this business. So those are a couple of big things. You know, I'm a big believer in goal setting. I'm a big believer in making sure that you follow a spreadsheet, that you're working with multiple people, that you stay organized, that you're moving people off of yellow. You know, it's sometimes we can call people over and over and over again, and I hate it. I hate continuing to call people, because then I feel like I'm being a burden to them. I'm bothersome. So I want them to tell me, are you interested? Are you going to move forward with me or not? I mean, I don't want to keep bothering you. Just tell me. If you're not interested, then I'll move you. You know, I won't call you again. But I also make sure that when someone tells me they're not interested, I always tell them not interested doesn't mean not interested forever. It only means not interested now. And so I always ask them, can I follow up with you in 4 to 6 months? And then I'm pretty good at staying organized that way. And if they tell me yes, which I've never had someone not tell me that I can't follow up with them in 4 to 6 months, I schedule them on my calendar. And I tell them, I always put some notes in on how our conversation went, so that when I follow up with them in 4 to 6 months, it's a conversation that I can kind of make retroactive, and bring up some of those things that we had in that conversation. You know, I'll call them and I'll say, hey, we talked 4 to 6 months ago. This is what you told me. I'm still well. things are going good? Have things changed in your life? So, like I said, no doesn't mean no forever. It just means no, not right now. And I'll tell you another interesting quick story before I get off of this. But like I said, I mean, I'm a big believer in staying organized and making sure that you follow up with someone. And I had a gentleman that told me no. And I told him, I said, can I follow up with you in 4 to 6 months? And he said, sure. So 4 to 6 months later, I called him again and I told him, I said, we talked and you said I could follow up with you in 4 to 6 months. Has anything changed? And he said, no. And I said, okay, can I follow up with you in 4 to 6 months? And I'm making the story short, but I followed up with him again 4 to 6 months later. Well, doing this for about 18 months, I followed up with him, and finally his company decided that they were going to get involved. It was a seminar company, believe it or not. This guy was the CEO of the seminar company. And his company decided that they were going to get involved in a network marketing company. And because I had followed up with him so many times, he said, well, we at least need to give this guy a chance. And so they looked at a number of different companies, and I was one of them that he was kind enough to look at. And of course, because they were a big fish, I brought in some bigger fish and some big fishing poles to help me land him. And we ended up bringing him in, and we wined and dined him in our company, and he ended up joining with us. And we probably enrolled about 20,000 people by putting it on the stage of his seminar company in a matter of about 4 months. And that guy is one of my closest friends to this date. And when I very first met him, I had no idea who he was. I just went in and explained the opportunity with him. So you never know. But if you're organized and you follow up with people, you never know what's going to come out of it. And, that ended up being a pretty good deal for us. Laura said something at the beginning of this call. We met in this industry, and we've become very close friends. And I love Laura, and she's one of those people in this life that I consider a dear friend, and who has a ton of integrity and honesty in her life. I love how she lives her life, and I'm here because of her. And I don't know what it is about this industry, but you make some really, really close friends in a short period of time. There's just something about it where we're all fighting, we're all out there trying to build a business, and we've all got the same common goal, and you become very close with people in a short period of time. And that happened with Laura and I, and it's lasted for a long time. And she's not the only one in this industry. You just become very close. I really love this industry. It's an industry that for years and years and years, I had two hands out saying, I'm not interested. And something changed in my life to where I looked at it. I took a good solid look at it. And I'm one of those people now that has my arms out, but they're wrapped around it, embracing it. I love it. I really believe it's the truest form of free enterprise in our society today. It's one of those businesses that the harder you work, the more you can receive. And the rewards that you receive on it are totally commensurate to the amount of work you put in. If you work it, you'll build it, and it will give you dividends equal to the amount of work you put in. And to me, that's free enterprise. And it's one of those businesses that you don't have to put a lot in before you get, I used to own some restaurants, and my restaurants were millions of dollars to start. And this business can give you every bit as much a return as a restaurant can, or more, with much less of an investment. To come into this business with $1,000 or $2,000, or a few $100s, and have the opportunity to build a massive business around the world. It's a lot of fun. So free enterprise is where it's at with this industry. And I welcome anyone and everyone. This company is an amazing company with amazing products, unbelievable leadership, and great people driving the bus. People who I love and who I believe in, who are humble, who are honest, and they're people that I just want to link arms with and have linked arms with. Now just taking it to the wherever we're going to take it, which is going to be big. So it's exciting for me. So anyways, Laura, I've rambled on and on and on, hopefully shared some things that have been beneficial, but glad to be here.
That was great. Thank you. Let's give him a big clap. Hey. And as I was listening to you talk, I wanted to say something with all of you when he talked about he recruited somebody 4 hours down, and then that person recruited somebody, and next thing he knows, Japan, and then a couple, and then 300,000 people in Japan. Believe it or not, at the time that I met Zan, I was a single person, and I had a gentleman that had asked me out on a date a couple of times after being married for a long time. And, you know, I was completely a fish out of the water in the dating scene, okay? I had like adult children. And it's kind of funny because the way I got connected to Zan was this guy. His name is Gary. He's still one of my friends, and he's one of Zan's friends. And he calls me on the phone one day, and this is a true story. And he said, Laura, I'd like to invite you out. And I'm like, you know, Gary, I don't want to be rude. I just don't want to go on a date. And you're just like the nicest guy, but I'm like not into you. I didn't know how else to tell him no, you know, but he's a pretty persistent guy. And he was like, no, I wasn't asking you out for that. He says, I want you to come and hear this presentation. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, so he is who connected me to Zan. And that is the truth. So I went to the presentation, and Zan was there. And at that time, and this was with all the love and respect for Zan, he was a little newer in the industry. He was already successful. He had only been in that company. And they were talking about how they do it and draw circles on the board and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there like rolling my eyes, like, are you kidding me? Like, they're on a whiteboard and they're drawing circles, and you can be on the left and you can be on the right and all this stuff. And afterwards, I went up to Zan. He may remember this. I remember it was pretty. I said, you know what, Zan? I'm interested in the business, not the way you guys do it. You're welcome to come to my house, and as long as you come with like 1 or 2 other people, I might consider. So he showed up to my house the next week with his uncle, whose name is Ken, and another guy who I can't remember. I think his name was Randy. Anyways, and we had this little meeting, and that guy, Ken, who is a big earner in this industry, no kidding, gets up in front of my living room and has a whiteboard and starts drawing little circles on the board. Zach, do you remember?
I do remember, yeah.
And I said, whoa, time out. That's not how we're going to build. How I'm going to do it is belly to belly. And that's when Zan switched like a light bulb. He was like, she knows how to build belly to belly, like really, truly knows. And I'm telling you, it was less than 6 weeks. We had completely outgrown my home from belly to belly. Now, the reason I want to tell you that story was what Zan said about connecting and stuff. A guy who had gone on a date with me like a couple times is how I met Zan. And had that person not just been in my life at that time, I would have never met him. So that's why I'm telling you all, you never know. You never know who's going to cross your path at any given day, that they aren't going to be amazing underneath you or vice versa. So I love that Zan said, just open up your mouth and don't be afraid, just talk. And he actually did ask me, and I told him no, because I thought he was asking me on a date. And he was like, no. Now with that, I want to say this. Do you know how I always tell you, every one of you who've ever been in my presence, be proud out loud about the fact you're with Live Elite? Say it. I am with Live Elite. One of the biggest challenges I have known in this industry is people invite you to these little in-house demonstrations or the back of a Pizza Hut or these little things, and they never tell you what their company is. Our friend Gary wouldn't tell me what it was. And that bothered me. As a business person, I wanted him to say, I am inviting you to come and hear about blah, 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 what the company is. So be proud out loud. Plant the seed. I am with Live Elite. Don't do it through the back door. And the reason why is, that's why Zan talks about integrity and honesty. I always want people to know exactly who I'm with and what I'm doing and what I'm representing. Be proud about it. That's really important. So in closing, I just want to thank you, Zan, so much for your wisdom tonight. That color coordinated worksheet that you talked about, the spreadsheet, I've seen it. I think I was on his green list for about a minute, and now we're green together. And I love your heart, and I love what you've shared with our distributors tonight. And thanks for all that you're doing to contribute to our Live Elite family. It's been a true blessing to have you join. Now, for the rest of you, I want to say this. Thank you for your time this evening. I see that numbers are coming in. We are getting new recruits. For those of you who are brand new, welcome. You need to understand that you can be whatever you choose to be. And like Lennon says, we are winners. You're born with greatness in you. And we are winners here. And Live Elite is a winning company. We have, like Joel says, the trifecta. So go and win this week. Write your goals down. Talk to your higher, your power, your Lord, God, whatever, and make it happen. And the last thing I want to say about goals is I put it out there in the WhatsApp. I know all of you are reading the messages. I see who reads them and who doesn't. For those of you who are reading and not restating back, I promise you it's coming from either fear or not clear. So get clear and overcome the fear. That's all I want to say. Get clear and overcome the fear. And then crush it this week. Thanks for all that you do. Have a great evening.